There was a wonderful story that I heard you say once, was how you discovered Aerosmith.
Yeah,
Can you explain to the audience how you discovered them?
absolutely. I was about 11 years old, so this would have been around 84, 85. And I was riding my bicycle with my best friend in the little town where I grew up. And we would always go down to this little mud hole where teenagers would go, and they would take their four-wheel drive trucks and their ATVs and play in the mud. Very Southern American thing to do. And we would go down there because they would leave cigarettes and beer, and you never knew what you might find. And so we went down, and there was a truck that was overturned on its roof, and I guess so they were going to come back and get it later or something. But there was a bunch of shit spilled out on the ground, and there were a couple of cassette tapes, and one was Hank Williams Jr., who I knew who that was, and then one I rubbed the mud off and it said Aerosmith Rocks. And I didn't know what that was, but I was really getting into rock and roll guitar. It was very, and this was about a year, I think, before Aerosmith released Walk This Way with Run DMC. So they weren't all over MTV or anything like that, which was pretty new at the time too. And I don't know that I could really tell you that I had heard Walk This Way or Dream On. I didn't really know that yet. Maybe I'd heard it and I didn't know who they were. But I took it home and put it on my sister's cassette deck. And I don't remember what song it was on, as far as where they left it. Maybe it was Back in the Saddle, I'm not sure. But it was so thrilling to me because the guitars on that record are so huge. And I mean, it's my favorite Aerosmith record ever since. But that was it.
I mean, what a story. It's like you were destined to find them. I love it. That's brilliant. It was just, have you ever met any of the guys from Aerosmith, and have you told them that?
Yeah, I met Joe Perry and Brad Whitford, and I told I met Joe Perry very briefly, just shook his hand, and didn't have time to tell him that story. A good friend of mine told him that story. And I said, what was his reaction? And he said, cool.
I can imagine it like that, actually.
Yeah. Brad Whitford, I did tell him, and he was much more receptive. And he was like, wow, that is crazy. I said, yeah, that's,
That is insane. It's funny because I had Nuno Betancourt on the show, and he loved that Aerosmith Rocks album as well. He said it was one of like the changing moment for him. But he described something quite funny. He said he talked about musicians, artists having a soup, and it's kind of like, what's in your soup? Who are your influences? From
a young age, the traditional string band music was the first big thing as far as bluegrass, like Bill Monroe and the Stanley Brothers and Flatt and Scruggs and music like that, Doc Watson. But then I heard the Rolling Stones. My mom was a huge Stones, Beatles, Bob Dylan, Beach Boys. That's her quartet of greatness. And I remember at one point thinking, I love the Rolling Stones. Honky Tonk Women, that's my favorite thing ever, because it's got that kind of country thing. And then it's got this beautiful electric guitar and this great backbeat, and that thing that they have, that swagger that they have that nobody else has. So the Stones, definitely the Beatles and Dylan, but I love Little Feat and the Grateful Dead, and of course the Allman Brothers and Leonard Skinner and the Marshall Tucker Band, all those Southern bands. But I got very, very, very into the Replacements also in high school, and Soul Asylum, those Minneapolis bands. And then I love the Clash and the Sex Pistols and the Damned. I love everything that's good.
You've got an exotic soup going on, haven't you?
My soup is like the hobo soup that they put everything in and it somehow still tastes good.
The leftovers, like everything, they're just to make
Right.
a combination. No, I
What do
know.
they call that in the UK? We call it Brunswick stew here in the South.
What do we have a name for it? I mean, there's a name. It's not a soup, but we have something called bubble and squeak,
Okay, yeah.
which is basically, yes, you have that like on Boxing Day after Christmas Day, because it's
Yes.
everything that's left over, you mash it all up and then fry it up together, and it's like vegetables and meat and potatoes and that kind of thing. So that's bubble and squeak.
I have a bubble and squeak. I have bubble and squeak musical tastes.
Oh my God, that's excellent. I love that. I like that idea. So when was the moment that you knew that you wanted to make it as a musician? You wanted to make this your lifelong career?
I think it was probably when I tried to play Pee Wee football when I was about 12 years old, and I was so bad at it because I'm not very big. Now the guitar from 6 years old, it was something that I felt I could do.
Yeah.
And of all the things that I couldn't do, I thought I feel very comfortable with this. I've got buddies who are really good at sports, or they're really good in school. They're obviously going to go on and be a lawyer or a doctor, or something that pays well. And I just couldn't pay attention in school. All I thought about was music. And I played drums on my desk every day, and the teacher was like, "Stop drumming, whoever's doing that." And I started to sneak in high school. I would sneak a Walkman cassette in my jacket, and I took the little headphones off the little metal thing, and I would run up the sleeve of my jacket and put it in the palm of my hand and do this all day, listening to Guns N' Roses. So it was hopeless.
Yeah, you had no other choice, did you, really? Basically, it was what you were destined to do. That's incredible. That's incredible. Was there anything that you struggled with? Obviously, because I'm a beginner. Was there anything that you struggled with that you kind of have mastered, or maybe still struggle with a little bit on the guitar?
Dedication to practice. I don't know how to read music, or I can't explain scales or modes or anything like that. It's all I'm just an ear player, and so I get a little lazy, and I wish that I could overcome that. I wish I could, because I want to play jazz so badly on the guitar. I watch these jazz guitar players, and it's so interesting and beautiful sounding to me, and I want to learn how to do it, but I just can't make myself sit down and work on it. I need somebody to make me do that.
Now's the time, Charlie. Now is the time. It's probably, I mean, I know you're busy right now, but I guess it's probably the quietest you've ever been, even though you are busy-ish doing shows.
Yeah, you would think so, but at my house, I probably play guitar way, way, way less than on the road, because as soon as I get like, you know what, I'm going to sit down and learn Caravan, Duke Ellington song, and I turn the amp on, it's like, turn that off. What are you doing?
No. Oh my God. So do you not practice much then when you're off the road?
No, I do. I play the guitar probably every day, but I just pick up a noodle, and then it'll, sometimes that'll turn into a song. So I guess there's a means to an end. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I wish I was a great jazz guitarist.
Like I said, there's still time. There's still time.
Yeah.
I think you'll be able to do it. So Charlie, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was really lovely to chat to you. Like I said, the album is brilliant. So well done. Congratulations with that.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.